Betsy and Thomas here for the American Intelligence Media. What are you talking about, Thomas?
Well, Betsy, I'm very, very, very happy because in Australia, they caught Facebook selling your profile, which we told you costs $3.50 at any one moment to any advertiser or person who wants to buy it, including political parties. So when they tell you that Trump, through Cambridge Analytica, and what's that guy's name, Brad
It doesn't matter. Move on.
Pascal, I don't know how to say his name, but I call him...
Pascal. He's the new guy with
I call
Trump.
him the cyber Viking. He looks like a Viking, and they say, "Oh, he's hired this guy." What did we say? Watch out! Next day he will be attacked. Woo! They came out, attacked him so bad, and they say Cambridge Analytica. They lie. They got a piece of what someone bought as a study done in England for 270,000 people. They lie and say it's 50 million people they had. Lie. But you can buy programs that do this. You yourself, right now, can go onto, what's it called? Customer preferences. And then you can go into, you can go to Facebook to prove this to yourself. Your profile is worth $3.50 at any 1 second, and it's sold millions of times to any commercial interest that wants it. It's called micro-targeting. Facebook admits this in the charges that they're being brought against them in Australia, and they're being threatened with sanctions. And they might even have to pay taxes there. Holy Lord heavens! If that happened, it would close. So, you can go to your selection in Facebook and say customers, audience. Then you go in and make sure you hit advanced matching. And then you will get the ability to see your own box, which can be bought for $3.50. Everything you have ever done can be sold and is sold every second from Facebook.
I bet your box is pretty scary.
Which box?
Your box.
Oh, my box. No, I turned off all ads a long time ago and took out all this stuff. You can take it out. Betsy, you've taught people how to do this.
Yes.
So it's for commercial purposes, and this is what Zuckerberg is saying. He's going, we do this. There's nothing wrong with this. What are you talking about? I'm a dude. I'm a Silicon Valley cutout. Tech king, warlord, what are you talking about? I don't know what my company's doing. Someone just told me. Yes, it's true. $3.50. Actually, I'm exaggerating. It's $3.54. And yes, we sell it to anyone who wants it. Do we vet who buys it? Of course we don't. Can politicians buy it? Yes, they can. Well, wait. Did the left or right buy it in the Australian? Well, only the left. But the right could have bought it. Now, are you telling me? We already told you what's really going on with Facebook, and I'm going to go back to that in a minute. Okay? But basically, what are we looking at here? We're looking at the worst of fake news. Let's remember, Facebook is ran by Sheryl Sandberg. Go to the timeline, look up Sheryl Sandberg. She and Larry Summers are wherever there's crime being committed. Okay?
Honey, she was an SES member.
Of course she is. So, now what is really going on? We told you what's going on. I'm going to repeat it. There were no Russians who bought any ads from Facebook. That is the reason the Mueller investigations say that these Russians from the IRA, Putin's hacking facility, which closed down and transformed in 2014, and all the people he indicted, the 13 people, haven't worked there for 2 years before the 2016 election, and this is a fact. Because the person who exposed them, where Mueller got this information from, he didn't even do any research. He simply read the New York Times article written by the guy who then, after Mueller indicted them, wrote another article and told where all those people are. None of them work there. None of them worked there at that time. Mueller is, of course, a fake. But he had to come up with the fact that Dude Zuckerberg had read his, what do you call those little cards? You know, that's the most Dude Zuckerberg can ever get out, is one little tiny card of notes. And after that, he turns red, sweats profusely, wants to suck on his hoodie, and you realize that he doesn't know how to write code, and he's never actually ran Facebook from the beginning, and that's just the way that it is. He's nothing more than a figurehead. He actually believed he was going to be president just months ago, that he could use Facebook to control America, and he would be president. Now let's think that through. Why would he think that? Because that's what he wrote as programs, both for Obama, allowed to be written and used for particularly Hillary. It was called the Template for Election. It was paid for by Eric Schmidt, $1.5 billion. It also created the U.S. Digital Service, which pulled together and centralized every single thing on the internet to go through the White House and now through Valerie Jarrett's bunker down the street called the Obama House, which the Obamas have never entered that I know of.
And those articles are linked to in the description box below.
Oh, you're so good, Betsy.
Well, because people are going to want to say, where's the proof, Thomas? So look at the articles. All right, go ahead. Go.
I challenge anyone to tell me something that I have said that hasn't been proven.
Well, in the last video about Q, they said you bloviated all over the place, but I know you have to protect the people's identity. So
I was
what can I say?
bloviating on purpose.
Okay, I know. Go ahead.
Thank you, Betsy. You're amazing that you keep track of all this stuff in your team. So, yes, you can read all about this. So we challenge you, anybody on SES or any other thing that we put out. If you find something that we say is wrong, please, for heaven's sakes, bring it to us so we can correct it. That's how obsessed we are about the details. Even if we said 56 agencies and it was 58, bring it to our attention. Because now it's 75 agencies that SES controls because someone brought it to our attention in the 2017 document. So we had been looking at just the 2016 document. So these things are now pouring into us because the gauntlet was thrown down to basically say, you all are trying to take away our privacy, our right to free speech, our right to privacy on the internet. When we signed these agreements, I guess lawyers, we've proven that.
Are you kidding? These agreements, we've had them printed out, are like 1.5 feet tall. They know we're not going to read it, but what they've done is they've taken away all of our constitutional rights in these things.
That's why Dude Zuckerberg says in Australia, I didn't do anything wrong. I'll sell this to anybody. Hey, Judge, you want it? You want somebody's black profile? I'll give it to you. For you, I'll give it to you for $3. I'll cut off 50 cents, Judge, because I'll give it to anybody. Well, that's what happened here in America, but that was the tip of the iceberg. The real thing going on was the U.S. Digital Service, which literally had a Russian who wrote a program that created the algorithms that brought positive Hillary stuff up and negative Trump stuff up. And all you had to do was Google anything, anytime. Plus, they produced from the Global Engagement Center all of those supposed Russian ads. Zuckerberg didn't go back and find $100,000 spent on X number of ads that reached X number of people. Those numbers have changed over the time that now they're saying it reached hundreds of millions of people. Those are all lies. Plus, look at Mueller. Mueller said what the ads were, and they were for Trump, against Trump, for Hillary, against Hillary. They were for Black Lives Matter, for Antifa, for confusion, for chaos. Had nothing to do with the election. Just chaos. So, from his own pathetic attempt to pull out some documents from Dude Zuckerberg's Facebook, which he does not run, that's all they could get. Hey, we gave you more documents on that to prove that what we were saying is true. We gave you the GSA documents where Hillary Clinton signed for $750,000 worth of programs written for a template for election for her campaign while she was Secretary of State, paid to a Russian, used at Facebook and Google. Okay? We already gave you all that proof. We gave you the documents.
They don't want your proof because it shows their criminality.
Well, they don't want the proof. So really what I'm trying to say, folks, is don't believe this stuff. This is silly. Cambridge Analytica didn't do anything. Here's what they probably did. They didn't pay $3.50 for those profiles that were collected on those 270,000 people. They probably paid $1.75. And by the way, it was British, so they got a deal on it. It was probably £1. So now, what are they doing? To prove that they're bad in America, they're attacking them in Britain. Well, this was the American version of it. And yeah, they have done a few things in the past wrong because they're a big company. And they have been political data analysts, metadata analysts. They use projective linguistics. They use all these things. They work fairly well, but they haven't made winners. Yes, Trump used them, but look what Bannon said. Bannon said, Cambridge Analytica didn't do us any good. We saw their presentations. We didn't know what they were talking about. That's what they all said. It was like some highfalutin thing. Trump exposed Brad and said, Brad is starting on my campaign right now. And what did Brad do? He pulled a Scaramucci. He pulled a Trump effect. He said, I am the big Viking cyber warfare dude from Cambridge Analytica that helped win the election, which I really didn't.
Thomas.
Come on, I love the fake voices. No? And I, the Viking cyber warrior, am going to win this election, and I'm going to start now for Trump. What happened immediately? Attacked from all directions. And when they attack them, what do we always point out?
They show who they are.
Yes, ma'am. And then, did a little bird whisper in Trump's ear that in Australia, they're going to take down Dude Zuckerberg, so it'd be a perfect time for Brad to come out and say, we are going to dominate Facebook this time, because he was actually going to have sanctions put on him? This isn't whether he did it. It's how big the sanctions are. This is about the fact that Facebook was never owned by Mark Zuckerberg. He didn't write a single line of code that we know of.
Well, wait a minute. The word owned might give people a problem there, because he owned shares.
At first, and then he went on an IPO.
What you're really saying is he wasn't the original creator to make it what it is today.
And neither was that his money.
Right.
He was a failed student at Harvard who was spying on girls and giving away to give a numerical assessment of their body parts.
Well, he sounds like he's just a right candidate for some MK Ultra mind control brainwashing.
His name is not Zuckerberg. We know his real name. We have yet to bring out that, but because people would say we were crazy. But we have been exposing him now after the very, very, very first article that was written publicly after we had said that he was nothing more than a DARPA In-Q-Tel project. He was in the internet is the DARPA project. He was in In-Q-Tel because he used IBM Eclipse's stolen patents from Leader Technology to make social networking scalable. They had a little network there, and it was the way that he spied on the girls on the soccer team, and then he had hacked it. He had hacked it to steal the code that was actually sent to someone at Harvard. If you listen to the stories of our interviews with Michael McKibben, the CEO and founder of Leader Technology, you'll hear the whole story. But the point is, Dude Zuckerberg had people write code for 2 years, but none of them actually wrote the code that is used. Where'd that code come from? Now, no one wants to admit they don't have the original.
It was done during his midterm exams.
While on a beer binge,
right.
While he was failing those exams. In 1 week, he supposedly, and they said, well, how did you create it? And he said, well, Harvard didn't have a Facebook, so I created one.
Okay, so back to the point.
The point is he's fake. He is an NSA, CIA, PSYOPs project. And they're doing wonders with it but the trouble is even with all that happened, the real truth of it, not some fake Russians that Mueller tracks down because he read an article from the New York Times. Mueller, you are the most pathetic investigator, I think, in human history.
Well, he's not an investigator.
He's a lawyer. He's supposed to be doing
there as a protector.
Yeah, he's a fixer. He's covering the trail. So anyway, the point is, thank you so much, Australia, for pointing out that the whole fake news that is going insane, saying that Trump manipulated Facebook, is complete caca. You, me, anybody, a dog, can buy the information any day of the week for every second that your black profile that they're creating for you, that anybody, commercial or otherwise, wants. So it's a complete misnomer. All that's happening is a big friggin' joke. And I just couldn't hold back to say that in a minute, I'm going to go have a cappuccino, a piece of cheesecake, and the conclave and I are going to roar with laughter at what just happened in Australia.